What would you say to somebody who's kind of in that rough time?
When you want to quit, do not quit on a bad day. I'm so happy that I didn't, because my why is huge. My why is what makes me keep going even now.
As you've probably scooped thousands and thousands of yards, do you have any crazy stories?
Okay, so this is not on my actual client. So it's a neighbor. So they kind of live in the country a little bit. So their backyard goes to woods. So I'm scooping and I hear like the next door neighbors, the dogs are going crazy. And I'm like, I look over and there's a guy standing outside drinking his morning coffee and he's butt naked.
Cathy started with a simple idea, making her son the face of their small business. It grew into steady monthly income until one report almost shut it all down. But the way she fixed it, that's exactly what you can do if you face the same problem in your own poop scooping business.
Welcome back to the Built Local podcast. Today we have Cathy from Speedy Scoops out of Indianapolis on. Cathy, how are you doing today?
I'm great, Clay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, we are happy to have you. Cathy was somebody that's unique because review harvest user and was in a really rough spot when they got started with us because of some stuff Google happened. And so we'll go into that later. But Cathy, for anybody who doesn't know who you are or who Speedy Scoops is, tell them a little bit about yourself.
So my son is 12 now, but 5 years ago, we were hanging out. It was COVID. He was playing in his room and he was looking out his window and our neighbor was actually getting this service. And I had no idea the service existed. And he was like, well, what is that? What are they doing? I said, oh, they must have someone come and scoop. And I ran to the front and I saw the guy with the truck and he was, scooping, but he didn't have any letters or no logos. And so I ran out and I was like, who the heck is this guy? And so I went online and I quick looked up, poop picker upper, and some of the names came up. So I'm like, okay, I guess that's a thing, but I didn't know it was. And he's like, well, I could do that. I said, you sure can. And he was 7 at the time. Of course, he wants Legos, he wants dinosaurs, he wants whatever at the time. And so we're like, well, if you want to do that, you could earn money besides doing the chores and stuff he does at home, the little things. So we were like, okay, well, if you want to go do it, we can. So we put a little ad in our HOA and he got a lot of business right away. And this was kind of in the summer too, actually. So we didn't know it at the time, the slow season, but he got a lot of business and I was constantly always with him. And it just kind of took off from there on accident, completely on accident.
Wow. Okay. That's incredible. I think most of the time when I hop on with people and ask how they found out about poop scooping, it's almost always a YouTube video or online or something. So when did you, after you put the ad in the HOA, started getting some customers, when did y'all realize like, oh, this is more than our 7-year-old walking around and picking up poop? This is like a legit business. What was that moment for you like?
I did realize it was a real business because after 3 months while he was doing homeschooling, and we only went in our HOA, we put on Facebook, we got called by our state. They said they got a call anonymously by someone that said our son was seen on property cleaning and that was illegal because he's 7 years old. I said, what? What do you do about these kids who shovel, who mow, who rake leaves, and they're below 14? And they said, well, this is illegal in the state of Indiana. He cannot be seen on a property. I was so shocked. Either it was a competitor or we have some people following our story and what he's actually doing, and they were trying to shut us down. So me as a mama bear, I'm not having that. That's not going to happen. So I said, okay, I know we physically put his picture on, flyers online and different cards and stuff. And so I said, what if we take his image off, his name, and my husband and I take it over? Will that be okay? And she said, sure. Okay. So we took my son, we sat him down. We said, unfortunately, you physically can't be out anymore and we will take over just to keep it going. I literally thought this would be like a summer thing, like super low key. And it turned out to be a bigger thing because after that moment happened, the people that were hiring us were hiring him. They were paying him $20 per dog. Like we even charged the amount that the professionals were doing. Yeah. We didn't think because he's 7 to lowball, $5, $10. Like I had no idea pricing. I looked at one company and I said, okay, I guess we got to charge that. And so he got a lot of traction. He communicated with a lot of the clients. He played with the dogs. Like he was learning so many skills, organization, communication. And like to have that taken away from him, I was not having it. I was so mad. So once we got him, sat down, we talked to him, we said, we're going to be the face. We're going to go out there physically and do it. And he's like, okay, I understand. So We wrote emails. So at that time, after 3 months, he had 25 weekly clients he was going to. So we wrote them all an email and we said, we are not trying to be scammers. We're not trying to pull anything over on you. We showed them the picture of the letter that we got sent. We told them the phone call we got, like legit just happened. We want to like make you known that this can't happen. You can't see him anymore. But if you would still like our service, we would be happy to serve you. And they said, that's ridiculous. I can't believe that happened. Of course, please still come. And with that, they doubled our business within a month. They told people. So it
Yeah.
just got bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
So that snowballed into an actual legit business where we had got the CRM, we had to get all of the LLCs and stop doing notebook paper and phone call, like got a business phone number. It was wild. So after 4 months, yeah, it really took off.
Jeez, that is crazy. And I understand that those laws or whatever are in place for some reason to protect somebody, but what a robbery. I mean, what a robbery from keeping kids from learning those skills at that age. Like that stuff bothers me so much because as somebody who was pet sitting or mowing yards or doing that stuff when I was really young, like I never got that letter. Fortunate for me, I guess. But like that's crazy. It's such a robbery. I learned so much about entrepreneurship, about dealing with people, about, just getting out and like if you want something to happen, you got to go do it yourself. And like you learn so much about just life and what the real world's like doing it that way.
I agree. And we never forced him. We said, if you want to do it, like we're there to support you. And he enjoyed talking to the families and he got to talk. He talked to the kids. He talked to like the adults too and play with the dog. Like he enjoyed doing it. And
Yeah.
so he's like, this is so cool. And so it's fun for us to bond. Like after lunch, we'd, put on our boots, go out there and scoop. We listened to fun music and got him ice cream after. Like he had so much fun doing it. He didn't think of it as a job or anything. We got
Yeah.
his little scooper and everything. And yeah, so that kind of spurred on actually soaring this business to newer heights and expanding it but more.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, the silver lining was that the story was so good that people were going to do the marketing for you. Cause like this kid was scooping, now Indiana's saying he can't. And now we're going to tell everybody we know about this story. And then boom, now you've got a legit business.
Absolutely. And that landed us on a local TV news station too. And that even was a huge snowball effect too. The people that we talked to or we met, like they're like, you got to talk to this person, you got to talk to that person. I'm like, okay. Like I went and talked to whoever would listen and we got so much support from it. A complete on accident.
Yeah. Yeah. Jeez. That is so cool. I love that story. I think that's incredible. I know that's a little bit of a side tangent. What we normally talk about is like marketing and growing your business forever. But I think that story is awesome. It's not most people's story. Most people are like, nobody wants to work with me. And I'm like, well, you're not doing the work to get people to work with you. But that is great. And so once you got all these new customers, you had to like get the LLC and get the CRM in place. From there, what were y'all both working full time in that moment there, or were you able to just go full time on it then, or what was that transition like?
That was so tricky. So 5 years ago, at the time, I had a 1-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 7-year-old homeschooling. My husband was working full time. At first, he was going downtown. So he had a 45-minute commute both ways. And then COVID hit. And then luckily, he was able to stay home. But while he was working, I was a stay-at-home mom. I didn't work. I was homeschooling. But like I had to find babysitters for the afternoon. Like I said, like we went right after lunch for 1 or 2 hours and I would have to find my family to come watch the kids and make sure they were okay. And so I was very limited. I might have gone out for 2 or 3 days during the week, but I acted as a full-time business. I wrote Monday through Friday. Here are my 8 to 5 hours. And I didn't want people to think we were not a legit company. So I acted as I was full. So if people said, oh, can you come on this day or that day at this time? And I said, oh, our routes are full. But in reality, I wasn't going out that day. I couldn't. I didn't have a chance to.
Yeah.
So I would say, we have an opening when I'm available. So I truly made it work around my schedule and it was fantastic. So once my husband, unfortunately COVID happened, but that's when this was born. So he was sent home. He was able to work remotely. That was a complete game changer. We tripled after he did because I was able to leave kids at home.
Yeah.
I could go out full time. I was able to build more routes. I could expand my days Monday through Friday. Actually, I was actually going Monday through Saturday and I was able to just do more. And it was such a huge blessing from that point on.
Wow. Okay. So another thing that would be seen as an obstacle like COVID or whatever turned into a blessing because he was home, he could keep the kids. So you're now able to do route salt, 4, 5, 6 days a week. So once it was, a legit business, like you said, had the LLC, did y'all hit some sort of like growth plateau or it's like, all right, we got like 60, 70 customers. Like now what? Like how do we market to get more customers? Or has it always just been organic, just growing?
No, we really didn't take this business too seriously until 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, with knowing from different Facebook groups and different school groups, like we have learned so much of what to do and what not to do. And we did everything wrong in the beginning. I had no clue what I was doing. I was pulling from, everyone that I was talking to, different industries, even like the lawn care industry, watching their YouTube videos. And I didn't have a coach. I didn't know what to do or ask. So I'm just learning as I go. And so we didn't put a whole lot of money into marketing. We used the client's money to put money into like Facebook ads. I stupidly boosted my Facebook ads, threw money away, burned it in Facebook land. But I'm a part of like over 100 Facebook community groups and mom groups and pet groups and anything local around here. I'm
Yeah.
posting every week and the same day. So I think that consistency, people would see our name and they would say, Speedy Scoop, can come, or if you need this, Speedy Scoop. So that kind of helped roll the ball a lot more. I was very afraid to spend money in the beginning. Like I come from a very conservative, keep your money, save it, don't spend it. And I'm like, this is probably doing no service for us because like we could grow and do more. And I was afraid to. After a couple years, we were finding out like we need to spend X amount each day on Facebook and see what happened. And as soon as we got a more of a return, I was blown away. I was like, there's a science and a system and a certain amount to play with to get the results that you want. And after about 50 clients, I truly was doing it pen and paper. I was on my personal phone with my personal phone number. I had no business number. I was texting everybody individually, every stop. And it was just like the longest time. So after 50 clients, we got Sweep and Go, which is a CRM that we use. And it was a game changer. I was so happy. I had no idea what a CRM was. I had no idea what it would do. So that was the very first like experience that we got of anything being automated or anything that could help our business grow and be more efficient. And then I was hooked. I was like, what else do we need? What do we need to pull from to excel this, to keep going? And that was so great.
Yeah, no, for sure. I resonate with that a lot about coming from like a conservative, like save your money mindset, like tuck it away and never look at it again. That realization of like, oh, whoa, like the highest return on my money would probably go into like putting it back into the business. And obviously you still got to take money out. You still got to be smart about it. But the very first time I ever spent like a decent amount of money on Facebook ads and I realized that I made a lot more back from it, I was like, whoa, this is the formula. We got to figure this out. It was like kind of an aha moment. And so you got the CRM in place, you learned about automation and making the business more efficient. What were the years like post-COVID, 2022, 2023, like? Were you just growing continuously from the Facebook groups and kind of putting the word out there? Like how long did it take you to get your first 100 customers?
Yeah, the first 100, I probably 6 months, 6 to 8 months. But again, we started in the summer. I didn't know the cycle. I didn't know when things would start to get busy. So since it was kind of midsummer, it was like June. No, it was July 2020. So it was very small in the beginning. But then as soon as that fall and winter hit, we were slammed. And then I was shocked. I was like, this is weird. Like, why is this happening? So that was the kind of like shock that I had about how fast it can grow. Yeah, probably 6 to 8 months.
Okay. Wow. That's awesome. And then how many customers are y'all at today?
A little over 300, and I have 2 full-time staff. But again, I did this also. I forgot to mention, we had changed logos 2 times. I had used a car with magnets with completely different logos on it. And I never hauled the waste away. I double bagged it and left it in people's trash cans that no one told me no. No one told me this is terrible. We just kept growing and growing. I had no idea there was like a full service, part service. But every time I was like, I want to get better. I want to do better. So I want to be able to serve our clients better because they were so supportive and loyal. So I was like, how can I give them a better experience? And so my husband and I were going back and forth and we're like, we need to get a truck. And I'm like, I don't want to haul away. And like, I was fighting the whole time. I'm like, I want this like bare bones. Like, I don't think I'm going to take this seriously. It's not going to go anywhere. Like, I literally was like fighting every tooth and nail of what my husband wanted to do because he was like, here's how we can make it better. And I'm like, no, we don't need to do that. Because he went to business school. He was business minded. He does all the back end stuff. If we did not have my husband, this would not be running. Like he's for sure. He's the operations, he's the route manager, he does the accounting, he makes sure everything is running. So
Yeah.
he was giving me all this advice. And I was like, oh no, we don't need to do that. And I'm my own bottleneck. I'm stunting my growth at this point.
Yeah.
So he's like, let's go see a truck and like, let's just go check it out. And I'm like, okay, fine. And I loved it. I was like, this is
Yeah.
awesome. So we went to see the truck. I was like, well, now we want a new logo to really, ramp it up. And we put a new logo on it. And I was like, this is the coolest thing. Like, I felt like I could really give my clients something better. And so it's kind of like the chicken and the egg. So if I don't have a truck, or if I don't have a dumpster, like I can't have a truck, like it's like there has to be something to happen first. So it took me 3 years to find a dumpster location. And I've heard so many options of call a veterinarian, go to a bar, use someone's dumpster to split the cost, go to a groomer. None of that was hitting in my area. I would call so many people and they were like, nope, not interested. So I found a dumpster and I'm renting out, a lot. And so I have my dumpster in the same spot that I have my fleet now until everything's all in one spot. But that has to come first. So once I secured a location that I could haul away, then I'm like, now let's get the truck. Okay, now I can tell all our clients, now we're going to haul away. And again, this is no extra cost to them.
Right.
They were so supportive. So we wanted to give back and we never said we were going to increase your prices. Like, this is what we are able to do now because you've supported us for this long. So that was like a nice progression for them. Like, oh, this is so nice that we supported this family and we get an extra benefit for this
Yeah.
without getting charged more.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I think that's going above and beyond. And anybody who hasn't seen your fleet, go to Speedy Scoops Google Business profile and look at their photo. Fleet looks so clean, the vehicles look so good, the branding looks amazing. So that's awesome. So when y'all did the new logo and the truck wraps and all that sort of stuff, when was it? 'Cause and I want to go into the story. When did you lose all your Google reviews on your
This
profile?
past December. Yeah,
Okay.
this past December. We have had Google Business Profile up for 4.5 years at that point. Like, no problems. We used a P.O. box as the address. There's been no emails or shutdowns or anything. And so we woke up at 7 o'clock in the morning in December in the busy season when it was starting to be like picking up a whole lot more. The worst time that a profile could go down, I lost my credibility. I lost all of my reviews I had prior, all the 4.5 years we've been working on. We lost everything in December and we're frantic. I'm asking on every group that I know, who can fix this? How do we rebuild? How do we appeal? What's the next steps? It was so stressful because at that time we had fantastic employees. At the time we had, my fleet was ready. Like, we were ready to go this past fall. We were ready to go up, skyrocket to the moon. And we
Yeah.
were stunted because everything was gone. No one could find us. No one knew we existed. So I had to tell everyone locally, I was like, please give me reviews on Facebook. No one looks at the Facebook reviews, but I had to have some type of
Social.
credibility somewhere that we're real. Like, we're not a scam. We're not like, a chuck in the truck. And
Yeah.
I was like, I'm so close to this brand and this business and this story that I'm like, this is my baby. Like, I need to like bring it back to life somehow.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, just goes to show how important a Google Business profile is. And like that profile being down, how many months was it down? Was it down like 2 months
It
or
was
so?
down for 4 months.
4 months. So like, I mean,
Almost the entire spring rush, it was completely down.
so realistically, y'all missed out on tens of thousands of revenue. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, lots of money doing that. And so, how did you eventually get it reinstated? How did you eventually get everything set back up again?
So we talked to a guy who was like, okay, who does Google Business all the time. And he was fantastic. We thought we could appeal it and it would be up faster. And we waited way too long. He's like, my last attempt is just to start you from scratch and build you a whole new one. And that was 2.5 months, 3 months at that time. And I'm like, we've lost so much. I'm like, we've lost spring clean. Forget it. Like, fine, rebuild the whole thing. And so we had to rebuild the whole thing. We needed all our reviews back and we found you to come and like save the day. And we had probably, I think, in the 70s after the 4.5 years. But again, I was doing all of the reviews myself. I was sending them links personally. And that was 4 years. And I've only gotten 70 something. So clearly not doing great, but I need to get this up as fast as possible. So when we reached out to you, you hit the ground running and you saved us. So we have like now 100+ reviews now. And I'm like so thankful that we've been so blessed to know the right people to put and ask and put in place to like bring this back to life. And I could not be more proud. So with all of that and our lessons learned from this past winter, we have everything in place to just like triple this next 6 months. Like that is our goal. We have everybody on board. I'm so excited for the next 6 months.
Yeah, for sure. And so if anybody doesn't know, like poop scooping, we kind of mentioned it already, but for poop scooping, they call it was like the summer slump or something. It's summer
Yeah,
slow.
summer slowdown.
Yeah, summer slowdown. Like it is, it's a lot slower for the poop scooping industry in the summer. And so in the spring, that's where they call it spring rush. That's like the biggest time of year. And so that time her profile was down. And then within, I was looking at the numbers earlier, within a little bit less than a month, you were back up over 70 reviews where you were before. So I think you
We
started with,
surpassed it.
yeah,
Yes. We
started with,
surpassed it with Review Harvest, and we could not have done that without you. We're so thankful for your program.
well, we're stoked that it's worked out and stoked to see you have over 100 reviews. Like I always say, y'all do the hard part of making customers happy. All we do is request reviews. So we've gotten, I'd say, pretty good at it. And that selfish, a little humble brag there, but I think we got pretty good at it because that's all we do. Right. And so y'all do the hard part though of making those customers happy. And so now you're on pay. You're like, you got everything set up. You got 100 plus reviews on your profile. It's verified. Everything's good. Did you have to, because I know people are going to ask, you were using a PO box before. Were you able to use a PO box again, or did you have to use your address and do service area business, or what would you have to do?
No, we still don't have a verified, we don't have an address. We're just like a service business. Once in a while, we'll still get people interested in our business, but they're an hour away.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm talking to the guy. I'm like, okay, our Google guy. I was like, you got to tighten up this route, and here's where our service area is. And I'm so afraid, and he's kind of worried to change any address. And I'm like, I touched nothing this year. Like, I want nothing moved and changed because I know you could use your home address and you can hide it. I don't even want to add anything to that algorithm to make it glitch and have them shut down again.
Yeah, for sure. No, for sure. It is so scary fooling around with a Google business profile, making edits and stuff, because especially when you're already in a good spot and you're already getting so much business from it, it's scary to fool with anything because obviously Google doesn't care if they shut down our business for a month.
And there's no warning letter. There's nothing. You wake up and your Google business profile is gone. It's done. No phone call, email, warning, nothing. And then you can't call anyone there.
Yeah.
Nobody's there.
Yeah. No, it is rough. And I the only saving grace maybe is that they know it's been really bad the past couple of years. And so I think that pendulum kind of had to swing because it used to be way too easy to get a profile verified. I want to say too.
Postcard in the mail. I got a postcard, put a number on, I'm in business.
Yeah, no, and so obviously people abuse that. The bad apples ruin it for the whole bunch. And so the pendulum swung way too far the past couple of years, being way too aggressive and shutting a lot of real businesses down. And they know that. And they made a video about that. And hopefully it'll kind of swing back to the middle where they can keep the bad apples out, but us real business owners, they're not going to do anything that's going to hurt us. Fingers crossed, hopefully.
Yes. Oh.
But one question I always love to ask Pooper Scoopers, as you've probably scooped thousands and thousands of yards, do you have any crazy stories?
Okay, so this is not on my actual client. So it's a neighbor. So they kind of live in the country a little bit. So their backyard goes to woods. So I'm scooping and I hear like the next door neighbors, the dogs are going crazy. And I'm like, I look over and there's a guy standing outside drinking his morning coffee and he's butt naked. I'm like, oh my God. Felt like, I was like, I can't let him know I saw him. So I'm trying to be quiet. I'm trying not to do anything, but I'm like, that barking of his dogs, I was like, holy cow, he's on his second level porch. Like he's just enjoying the view. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I cannot do that.
Yeah, enjoying the view for him and ruining it for everybody else. That's hilarious. I guess that comes with the territory when you get out towards, get some land and move out towards the country. You know, you can stand on your balcony butt naked, I guess.
I was so shocked. I was like, I was not prepared for this.
Yeah, for sure. Well, what are your plans? So I know you said you're looking to triple. So what are the goals? I know we have fall rush coming up, so it should get a little bit busier. What are your plans for the end of the year? And then like this time next year, where do you want to be at?
Yeah. So we're aiming to be 500 to 800 by April. By April
Awesome.
is what we have. Yeah. So we have a third truck ready to go. We're going to get a fourth truck. I'm going to hire 2 people for the fall. And then for the like January through April, hire seasonal workers. What I found is, again, me doing this, the spring rushes by myself. Last year was the first time I had helpers with me. I would go out with them. These spring cleans take way too long and it's like over an hour sometimes. And I personally know how I would want to run a business. If I was out there by myself, I would leave. So I want to have a 2-person in a truck for the winter cleanup and they will just work together because that cuts down the time by half. half. So like instead of an hour, you're there half an hour. So we can knock out more spring cleans than having one person go out. It might not be efficient. I don't care about efficiency. I want my staff happy. I want them to be able to like have that camaraderie in that rough season. So to me, I could care less if you're not going to, I'm like, go together. And that's what I've learned over the years. Like, I feel like that's a much better plan.
Yeah, no, that's so wise too. Cause like, although, in theory, it should just kind of be like you got two people working there, it takes half the time. It should kind of be a wash. But over the long run, like you said, your employees being happy is going to lead to less turnover for your customers because your people are showing up with a smile on their face. And in the long run, it will definitely be more efficient and better. So that's pretty cool. I haven't really touched on that with people
Yeah.
on this
And it's such a
podcast.
short time too. It's 4 months, that I'll have two people in a truck because clearly it's not efficient. Like it's typically one truck, one technician. But in those cold months where it's rough, like even having someone to complain about or vent or just go get a coffee, just having someone just to like talk to and hang out and listen to music in that cold time, have that camaraderie, a better experience for the technicians.
For sure, for sure. And so when it comes to, I know we talked about yourself being the bottleneck because you kind of wanted to like hoard all the money and not grow it or whatever. Besides that, what was probably the biggest mistake or the hardest lesson you had to learn growing this over the last 4 or 5 years?
Probably not listening to my husband. He knew what he was talking about. And again, I was very much like, save the money, keep it for us, and let's do it wise. But he keeps numbers, he keeps a spreadsheet. He knows what we can and cannot spend or what we have wiggle room with. And so he's showing me like, we can spend X to get Y. Like you were saying, like, it on paper, it's a lot of money in one chunk. And it's like, that's when you got to put more gasoline on the fire. Like you have a very short window to gain a lot of attention and eyeballs. So pour in as much and as safely as you can because the ROI is what the reward is. We coast for the rest of the month. We have 3 to 4 months to really knock it out of the park. And so this year, that's what we're planning on doing. And we have Google, Facebook pages running. We have digital door knocking that we've implemented. We have Go High Level. We're implementing a lot of automations to make it seamless. And that's why I say this next 6 months is going to be huge for us.
Yeah, for sure.
We
Talk
have to
about,
make lost time last year.
yeah, yeah. Talk about digital door knocking. What does that entail?
So we're working with a program and they're super baby program. So I don't want to share their name yet, but
Okay.
we're working with them. And instead of the door hangers and the signs, the yard signs, they're cold leads that we send emails or text messages to. So at this point, for me, it's about brand awareness because we don't do the flyers, we don't do door hangers or the signs. So I'm just trying to hyper target certain neighborhoods and just have them see our name because maybe they're not on Facebook, maybe they're not on Google or they're checking it out, but just so our name comes up. So it's very affordable right now. So for me, if I don't get any leads right now, that's okay. I still have all of their information that I can send them a card. I can send them a letter. I could, whatever. We've never done anything like this before. And plus this is still going into, we're still in our slow time, but we're going into our busy season. So I fully am prepared to not have a whole like flood from them. Again, for me, it's just brand awareness and we're going to be using them for the next 6 months. So that's the goal, just to get our name out there more.
Yeah, for sure. No, I think that sort of advertising where you can be so specific on neighborhoods is so important for home services that rely on route density, like pest or poop scooping or lawn care, or whatever, where it's like you can't drive 45 minutes to go scoop a yard. Like we need to have that route density. And so, what are some things that y'all done in the past to try and increase the route density?
I've just done 5 rounds with my business cards. We don't do door hangers. We haven't, just because I've heard it's a gamble. Like I'm not going to buy a whole bunch of flyers and like hope it works out. I do network with a lot of people. So I have a lot of people in businesses that are not scooping, groomers, pet sitters, they're dog walkers, they're veterinarians, or they do, some of them are realtors and they have like a welcome bag. Like if you're new to the neighborhood, they send a big welcome bag with a bunch of local businesses in. And so I partner with one of the guys who do that and he goes and physically hands them out. And so he'll be like, oh, I have 200 houses this month, or I have 160 houses this month. Would you like to add your flyer to the bag? And of course, I'm always giving it to them. So that helps a lot just to get our name out there too. But I think like leaving in cards and flyers and like the groomers and the vets, that's been great. That's been really awesome.
Yeah. Okay, cool. That's really awesome. One thing people love to talk about is the offer. Like when you're running Facebook Facebook ads or whatever? Like, is it a free initial clean? Is it a, what sort of offer have y'all run or do y'all see success with when y'all are doing Facebook ads, maybe more interruption based marketing?
Sure. So last year was the first time we did the first scoop free because of all the competition. Like that's what we're up against. In my area, they're pretty price sensitive. They will go $1 less. It doesn't matter, which is fine. Like it's totally fine. That's where we made the bulk of our money. Like the very first scoop was the
Yeah.
accumulation. It was a lot more. And
Yeah.
so people were like, I know the first clean is going to be more. And so now all these new people are coming in and they're posting their ads pretty much right under or before me. And so you have a client that's seeing or a potential client seeing, I get a free clean and then, oh, I got to pay $50 for it. Like, forget it. It's an easy pick, We were kind of forced into that position
Yeah.
because of what is happening around me locally.
Yeah.
But I actually thought about it too, and I was listening to some other interviews, and if you're losing maybe $100 for one time, but your whole relationship with that client is going to be a year or 3 or 5, fine, I'll lose $100. You know what I mean? For that. So my mindset changed after hearing that. And I thought that made a lot of sense too. You got to get them in the door somehow. This is not a need. Like it's a luxury service. They
Yeah.
don't need it. So whatever barriers we could break before they have to make their decision, if we make it easier, that's my goal.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I have to say, like, poop scooping is so interesting to me because it is one of the luxury services where you still have lots of price sensitive people, it seems like, which is really like kind of counterintuitive. A lot of our other like super high end, hardscaping or like, epoxy coatings in the garage, almost some like for some of them sometimes, and there's always going to be the chuck in a truck and there's always gonna be that guy. It's like, I'll do it for $1,000, whatever. But sometimes you quote too low and they think like negatively of your business, right? Because they're like, I'm spending $100K to get my backyard redone. Like, I want this to be done right, And so like y'all are doing the luxury service, but you're still dealing with the price sensitive people, which is kind of counterintuitive.
Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah, that's the case. Not everyone. I mean, like I said, some people will, balk at like $1 or $2 difference. Some people like, it's no big deal because they value the service. They know they want a quality product. They want to be able to come at not have to call back. Oh, hey, I saw a pile in my backyard. And that's what I've told my technicians. Like that is what differentiates us from other people. Like we'll go back. We're not perfect. We'll go back and if we miss anything, but I want that to be a 1% thing. Like that's not going to be our norm because we have a lot more competition and I want people to be so happy and they're raving fans, right? Like, oh my gosh, like this company actually does what it says it's going to do and all of that. So that's what's most important to me.
Yeah.
Quality
And
over that quality.
And when you do the first scoop free, are y'all making them commit to a month for the first scoop free, or is there any commitment, or how does that work?
There is no commitment for a certain period, but we say that you have to get recurring service.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
they can't just up and like take it and quit. If they do, we have their card on file. We charge them prior to like in the beginning of the month. We charge them before we come out, but we have their information. So if they want to quit, we will charge their card for that.
Gotcha. Okay, makes sense. What would you say? We probably have a lot of people starting a home service business or have had a home service business or a poop scooping company and they're struggling or they're just kind of getting started. As somebody who's been through the ringer the last 5 years, obviously, but you've come out the other side and you're doing well and like, in a great position to skyrocket this thing. What would you say to somebody who's kind of in that rough time?
I wanted to quit last year. I really was like waving my white flag. It was the worst year, not just business wise, but personal. Like I had my father-in-law pass. We had a lot of bad things happen and personally and then in the business. And it was just like one thing after the other. And I was like, I'm done. Like, this is not healthy. This is ridiculous. Like, I want to be done. But right, like the last 6 months has been amazing. Like, I'm so glad I stuck it out. And I was told, because I was complaining on different Facebook forums and different home service businesses. And I was like, what do you do when this happens? And when you want to quit, do not quit on a bad day. I'm so happy that I didn't because they're like, it's not forever. You're going to be stronger after you did. There are other things that will be coming up that you can't see. And I so appreciate that advice. And I'm so glad that I did not give up because I also have like my why is huge. My why is what makes me keep going even now. My son wanted to start this business. And even 5 years now, like he'll be involved in it on the back end, but he has actually a year and a half to go before he legally can be seen anywhere. Taking it until he can. And I mean, if he wants to scoop, if not, he could do other things, but I'm not going to just give up because why we started, and that's my why. He wanted to have this. We're trying it. It's been a giant blessing for our family, life changing. All the
Yeah.
things we've gotten to do and experience where my husband is working full time, but we're retiring him. Like we have a whole accountant that says, here's when you can, quit your job. So we want him out of his job working with Speedy Scoop full time, growing this. We're going to be opening up a whole lot more locations in Indianapolis. So we have a whole vision. We have a giant goal that's coming up. That why kept me going. So that's what I would say. Do not quit.
Yeah. I think that is some of the best advice I've ever heard. Don't quit on your worst day. Like, don't quit on a bad day. I wish I've actually heard that sooner. I didn't hear that until like a year ago, honestly. And like we have as entrepreneurs, a lot of our day to day feels unhealthy. It feels awful. Like you want to quit. I call them quitting days. Like you feel like quitting today. And if you're going to quit on the day where you sign like 7 customers and you get a review and things go perfect. And then if you still want to quit after a couple of days of that, then maybe you actually do want out, right? But what happens is you have those good days and you're like, this is amazing. I'm back in the game. And it makes all those negative times, it just kind of makes it worth it almost. And so that's incredible. Well, last thing before we close out, what would you say kind of your favorite part of Review Harvest is? And what would you say to somebody who's kind of on the fence about using Review Harvest?
Sure. My favorite thing is it's completely hands off. Like I said in the beginning, I was doing everything myself. I was physically writing them and then I have to follow up and get back on into my computer because my phone wouldn't work. Like everything was me. So when I found Review Harvest and people were like, oh yeah, they even respond for you. I'm like, okay, that sold me right there. Like that you're responding and like communicative. Like they think you're talking to me. It's not just like, thank you for your review. Like it's so personal and it's like using their names and it's so good. And I'm so impressed. I was like, done, sold, like whatever you need. So if you're on the fence, get off the fence and just sign up with Review Harvest. It's life changing.
Amazing. Cathy said it. Cathy said it, not me. Well, thank you so much for hopping on today. It has been awesome hearing more about your story. I knew some of it, but just going into the depths and hearing all the stories and all the things has been awesome. So, Cathy, you have a great Labor Day weekend, and thanks so much for hopping on.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
See ya.